wanted.
So I guess there was only one item in the front.
That definitely makes that play, I think, worth a little bit more. The fact that there are 3 items back there, even if you know you can't access one of the chests.
And there's the flute that Fear just found in the Dark Maze. That is very much a required item as well.
Oh, God. Flute and mitts in pod. And mirror and hammer in the back of pendant thieves. That's... Okay, game. What is this scene?
So Joss is doing the smith chain with those lovely mitts and mirror and everything, and he's right in the neighborhood, so why not?
Yeah. Darkwing getting a very nice hair pot there.
And Zaru is going to be able to do all of Pod on one trip. The first runner we'll see doing that. And there's Quake in Hera.
We are getting the Smith chain from Joss. Nope.
Which so far has produced nothing but pieces of heart. Let's see about Magic Bat here.
Fear is in the Mire area.
Hey, that all-important fire shield, it's a red shed today.
Fire shield is one of those things that a lot of our owners don't really use until that one time it blocks 1 or 2 shots, and hey, that's actually helpful. Nice Moldorm fight for Darkwing.
Yeah, so that'll be the other 5/6 crystal besides Pod.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like we're also back up, which is good.
Yes, we are back. Thank you for bearing with us, those of you who stuck this out.
Yeah. Hopefully. The big things, if anybody missed anything, it was that the mirror was found in the back of Thieves Town, and then the hammer was unblind, and we did find a flute in Pod. Otherwise, we really haven't found much. I say that, but like that was a lot of items. That came out wrong. That hammer on blind, though. Oh, yeah, I was just going to say the hammer on blind that Joss and Zeruvian have is going to be a rough thing for Fear and Darkwing to find later.
And we've also, in all this, found out that Misery Mire is Ether, which No, I was going to say Fear just got, so he's going in, but no, he's going to Agina. So now DW's in pod, which will be nice that he can get his mitts, and unfortunate because he doesn't have that hammer. And anyone's guess when Fear and DW will be doing the Back of Thieves.
Well, this is interesting. We're being told by chat that Fear actually has Meyer marked as Quake on his own personal tracker.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
If
Saw
that's the
something
case,
wavy and put it the wrong way. Now that said, we know Quake was in Tower of Hera, so he just needs to get the mirror or the hammer, both of which are in the back of Thieves Town.
the locations this seed, just the locations.
But in any case, we do know where Quake is, and as you can see, DJ Darkwing D picked it up on his way to Moldorm. Oh, okay. Fear going back into Thieves Town. Good on him. Probably kind of out of locations.
Yeah, when you think about it, he avoided pod the first time because of no hammer. He still can't get to Tower of Hera, can't do Swamp, can't do Ice, can't do Ice, could do Ice.
Now the question is he going to be like DW and say, oh, the mirror was my progress in here, I'm out? Or is he going to be like our two runners on the left and say, hey, there's still some more stuff?
Let's hope for the left, because this would be unfortunate to triple dip this dungeon, unrequired triple dip this dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, it also made Fear more... It made Fear go back to Thieves Town quicker than it's going to make DW go back there because he didn't have the mirror or the hammer. Okay, yeah, he's continuing on good. Whereas DW had all this stuff he can do with the mirror, and it's just the hammer that's going to force him back there once he's hammer locked out of everything.
Yeah. That's even something like the question is, do you just go into Ice Palace without the hammer, hoping that you'll find it in there at some point?
Yeah, there are unfortunately way too many things he can do, and he's going to have even more things to do when he picks up the flute in about 5 or 10 seconds.
We are about to see a boss fight on Zeruvian's screen. Our first look at Helmasaur. We will have it. And as Zeruvian finishes off his boss, Fear is going to start his fight. And I think as Fear finishes this fight, Joss will be starting his.
And this is a bit of redemption for Zeruvian too, because he got off to that slow start, taking the death in the back of Escape and everything, was definitely behind the other three runners for a while, and now he's even with Fear basically on the crystal count. Hasn't had a chance to do the flute checks yet, or Dark Death Mountain, but...
Yep. Well, Fear did finish that boss fight, getting his hammer. And Joss is now showing us Helmasaur the second time.
Oh, so is there an item in Eastern Big Chest that Zeruvian is now worried about?
Did everyone just skip it?
Seems an odd thing to suddenly worry about.
Yeah.
You know, usually if you skip that chest, you're pretty well committed to last locationing it.
I'm just trying to think. I didn't catch what the other runners did in Eastern.
What is Ceruvian doing? He did finish Eastern. You didn't. You can see. You defeated that Igor and didn't get a key. Yeah. Did he just forget that he had beaten it? Did he forget to mark it on his tracker?
I don't. Yeah, he was the one that did the bomb Armos.
Yeah, which was another thing that, you know, put him a bit farther behind. And I don't know if after that dramatic finish he forgot to mark it or what.
You know, there's a comment that Eastern is pretty forgettable. Generally, I would agree with that, but when you have to finish Armos with bombs for the last, like, 3 kills, that's 3 kills, that's a little less forgettable in my mind, but it's definitely, I think, it's really easy to lose track of something like that at times. There's so much going on in the seed.
So one thing I just realized is we're 2 items away from no mode, and both of those items are necessary for Turtle Rock. That we need Bombos and we need Ice Rod. And we can do everything else in the game that isn't Turtle Rock or Ganon's Tower in the meantime.
And those items can actually be anywhere else in the game except Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower.
Including on Pedestal, which we have no idea what's on it because we don't have a book.
Oh, yes, of course you bring that up. Yep. Oh yes, and of course, being brought up by one of our trackers, Ice Rod can actually be in Turtle Rock. Yes, Bombos can't be, but Ice Rod could be as far as Laser Bridge, where it likes to go for some reason. The nice thing here is that almost all our runners are on equal footing in terms of items at this point. The only difference really is that Zeruvian has not gone back for the Fire Rod and has not yet picked up Cane of Burn? No?
But he's going to show us Graveyard Ledge, which I'm not sure if anyone else has shown us. Cane of Burn was in Skull Woods, so that's consistent. You know, he'll get it when he does Skull Woods.
I'm pretty sure I saw Graveyard Ledge from someone, and I don't remember it being anything important. Yeah, arrows.
So there's Fear's third crystal. First of our restreamed runners to hit the 3 crystal mark, as we're just at about an hour.
Actually, bringing back to something earlier, it does look like the medallion is Quake for Meyer.
Ah, okay. So we need to do Hera before we can do Meyer.
And then you got to do Pod and Hera. That's for the flute and for and all of Thievestown. That's a really late Meyer in terms of locking items. You have to complete almost 3 other dungeons just to get in.
Well, Pod and Hera, you mentioning them in one breath reminds me that we haven't seen Pyramid Fairy, and Bombos and or Ice Rod could be there.
Yes, it definitely could.
And none of our runners currently has the ability to do Pyramid Fairy because DW is the only one with a Quake and the only one without a hammer. So It's a bit interesting that DW's doing cutscene chest here, because if you find the big key in the compass chest, the cutscene chest is likely, but not required to be, a small key, but there's a high enough likelihood that most runners will skip it, hoping it is the small key.
Well, we'll see if the play works out today. Joss on a boss fight.
And it's a small key.
Zeruvian doing Smith's chain. Joss did at least the Smiths earlier. Ooh, Joss. One heart.
Ooh, does he have he has a fairy.
He has a fairy.
Okay, I thought he did.
Yeah, it would have been
We've
pretty
seen
bold
so
to
many
keep
bottles. We've seen so many bottles. I was pretty sure at least one of them had a fairy.
Yeah, you'd think with 3 bottles that if he didn't have a fairy, he would have used a potion when he hit 1 heart. The Sick Kid bottle apparently had the fairy.
Zaru, how are you going to get into Ice Palace? Oh, and there's our ice rod in the Meyer big chest.
Sorry, what was in the Meyer big chest? Was that the ice rod?
The ice rod, yes. And Zeruvian realizing that he can't do anything in Ice Palace without either Bombos or the fire rod, and he knows where the fire rod is. He just bonked, though.
I feel like that's what happened. He knows he saw the fire rod and he was in the area, so it was probably in his mind that he has it already.
Also, you have the flippers. You don't need to flash delete. Oh boy, I feel bad. I mean, he did. In the setup room, he seemed a little bit out of it. Someone in chat was saying that his clock at home was, I guess, a few minutes off, and so we were waiting for him to start. He didn't realize he was late, so that might have thrown him a bit.
Yeah, it definitely could. That definitely could impact your play.
Yeah, you already got Zora.
Well, we have Joss checking out Ice Palace. I think someone else has already... Yeah, Fear Agent has already completed it.
Yeah, Fear Agent is 4 crystals in and very soon going to be 5. And he will also very soon be Bombos away from Go mode. The first of our runners to reach that 1 item from Go mode point.
Well, you had earlier you had mentioned PED. Now it could still be on PED.
Entirely possible. PED, Pyramid Fairy, anywhere in Swamp Palace.
Hey, let's put it on another pendant boss. Put it on Argus.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we have left that doesn't involve going into a pendant dungeon. We have Pyramid Fairy, of course. I guess we haven't seen Spike Cave yet, have we?
No, that's what I was going to say. I think we'd have to start thinking overworld locations that still have not been checked. Fear picking up that ice rod. So Zeruvian now going to be doing the icebreaker that Joss just did. Joss's icebreaker didn't quite cooperate there quite at first, but he got it.
Ceruvians did.
Yeah, Zeruvian's was very fast. That glitch can be a bit finicky at times. It's pretty consistent, but if you just accidentally muscle memory onto the wrong spot, you can kind of get stuck.
And I'm also thinking with DW being here and doing Smith Chain, I wonder if that's going to make him think about Thieves Town. Because he's going to need to go in there to get his hammer. Well, he just sacrificed his mirror portal, so yeah, now he's quite a bit removed from Thieves Town.
We did just see the spooky glitch on Fear's side. Shooting off that fire rod nowhere near the crystal switch and somehow still hitting it.
You just fool the game when it comes to vertical offset.
Yeah. The fire rod can hit something through a wall, right? Intended, for sure.
If you're showing us the same nice tempered cape strats that DW used, definitely in Stand Hard, the best way to beat Vitreous.
Yeah, when you don't have those silver arrows, you got to come up with another way to do it.
Or the gold sword, which is the second best way after the silver arrows.
Yeah. We do have another boss on Joss's side.
Yeah, Cold Stare is a case of where, you really start to miss those mail upgrades.
Yes.
But Joss doesn't take a puff.
No, he doesn't. The thing is, when you look at his health, for example, he's got 12 hearts of health total. If he was at max health, each time you touch a Cold Stare puff, you lose 4 hearts. Each time you get hit by something falling out of the ceiling, you lose 2 hearts. It is very easy just to quickly lose 8, 10 hearts and die. Fear Agent is in Desert Palace, our first runner to go check out that dungeon. It's a pretty fast dungeon. I feel like if you're going to go into a crystal dungeon, may as well get out of the way and see if there's anything in here.
Okay, as chat is asking about where that missing medallion is, let's get a prediction in here. Is it going to be in Swamp or Ped, which would require us to do Swamp first, or somewhere that doesn't require us to go into Swamp?
At this point, I'm going to say Swamp or Ped.
We still haven't seen Pyramid Fairy. There's the Green Pendant turn-in. There's Spike Cave.
Oh no, there's definitely options. But my vote here is Swamp or Ped. Oh, you know what? Actually, there's a good point being made in chat. We haven't checked any of the tablets either. We could find the book to a tablet.
That is also true. And I guess by logical extension, if we find the book in Swamp and it's on a tablet, we'll count that as Swamp too. I should have said, like, locked by something in Swamp. I'm also a bit surprised no one's wanted to finish Desert yet, given that it is the Green Pendant, and, I mean, I guess you can get back to it pretty easily, but still.
Yeah.
One place we know Bombos can't be, and that we not only is Bombos not there, but we're not going to see anyone check it, is Mimic Cave, because by the time we get there, we will be in go mode.
Yep, because we already have the ice rod. The only thing left is locking our entrance to Turtle Rock. So there will be nothing good in there. We have max sword, we have max shield, we have half magic.
We have
What's
powder.
Yeah, we already have powder. Like what's left that the runners could want? We need the bug net so that we can properly fight Aga too. That's what it is. But for in all seriousness, for any newer viewers, this is you can use the net to fight Aga, but it's not required.
Yeah, so we've had 3 runners dip desert, and none of them have grabbed the green pendant.
That's going to be interesting if it's required. I'm surprised no one's going for the green pendant. If you're going to dip desert, I think I am surprised. It's not. It doesn't take that long to get to the boss. Oh yeah, actually, there's a good point here. Darkwing is in ice without that hammer still.
Oh no.
It's that comment I made earlier about even then, before going back to Thieves Town, he may do that ice palace dip. There's just a lot more checks in here. So there's actually a higher likelihood in his mind, and he's correct with what he knows, that there's a higher likelihood that the hammer's actually in here than it is back in Thieves Town. So, most of our runners still need to head back to Meyer to pick, or half of our runners need to go head back to Meyer to pick up that ice rod, and everyone's still looking for that Bombos.
And looks like Fear is gonna do Pyramid Fairy now. At least I hope he's gonna do Pyramid Fairy before he does Swamp.
I guess we'll see. Yep, looks like it.
And nearly simultaneous Moldorm fights on the left side. It's amazing that like Joss and Zeruvian, diverge and then they sync up, and then they diverge and then they sync up, and it's kind of impressive that no matter what happens, they sync back up.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting when you see people take drastically different routes and just end up in the same place at the same time anyways.
Though in this case, Joss is up by a crystal. Zeruvian never did do Skull Woods.
Well,
Oh,
they're in the
and
same
look where
spot.
DJ Darkwing D is.
He's figured it out. I think he's just locked at this point. No, he could do Skull Woods.
Oh wow! He had locked himself out of doing anything further in Thieves. I'm just seeing because he didn't take that key from under the pot by the entrance to blind. He took the key from the front and used it instead. So he had to leave. DW, you did already get the mirror out of there, and you probably bombed the floor. Did you not bomb the floor?
I assume he would have. Oh, he did.
Didn't bomb the floor. Wow. That's unfortunate, inefficient routing.
There's some talk about Bombos being in Thieves Big. Joss did go all the way back through the dungeon immediately to check it, and it is a big 20. There is nothing in there.
So just to recap for people who didn't see this earlier, DW, when he went into Thieves first, he went to the back and made a beeline for the attic. Didn't even pick up the key under the pot by the entrance to the boss chamber. And he didn't even he got the mirror there, didn't even bomb the floor of the attic, and well, at that point he was down a key, so he just used the mirror and mirrored out. And so now he's in this weird situation where he had to grab that key, and he had to go back to the attic to bomb the floor. And by the way, Zeruvian is showing a spike cave finally.
Yeah, Wild Fear Agents in Swamp. We're getting both sets of checks. Oh, shield.
Oh. That's our third shield then, because I can't remember where Fear got his, and the other runners got their fighter shields, but it was not in Spike Cave.
No, because Joss already has Fire Shield, and he's about to get a big green 20. Yes, Dig Game was definitely one, because I was surprised that some of the runners picked that up.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised too. So watch this. The joke's on them, and it's gonna be on Green Pendant.
Yeah. There really aren't that many locations left for them to check. It's pretty much that or Swamp. Left side Swamp with Go Mode item? Again?
Notice that Fear wants nothing to do with Left Side Swamp.
Yeah, but... He's making the gamble that he'll find the items on the way to the boss. That map and the compass side by side.
So we got 2 items on Left Side Swamp.
Hey,
Oh, there it
Bubbles!
was.
That's good.
Okay, no need to do left side. This became Oops All Dungeons. We didn't really need to do desert, but I think everyone but Zeruvian's been in there.
Yeah, I can see why. I'd much rather go in a desert than swamp.
Speaking of Zeruvian, that was some nice ether strats to clear that room.
Yes, that room sucks. Oh yeah, Fear isn't officially in Go mode as well at about an hour and 18 minutes.
Yeah, and now the question is, will the key layout of Turtle Rock be friendly enough that he can take advantage of that Go mode?
It's Turtle Rock, so I'm gonna say no.
I mean, if the big key is vanilla, you're basically full clearing the dungeon.
Yeah, I guess you can skip that check. Potentially. The problem with skipping that check is if it does end up having a key you need, you can kind of get stuck later on and have to come all the way back.
Well, if the big key isn't vanilla, the only thing that would really get you stuck is if the lava chest and the big chest both have small keys, which is like a 2.5% chance or something.
Well, maybe.
Okay, let's see how Joss handles. Okay, so as I recall, Fear did not do the cutscene chest that he,
Ooh.
remembered that the cutscene chest is probably going to be a small key and skipped it, which wound up being the correct play. Hey, there's our
look,
book.
the book. Fear also missed the fire rod shot and very successfully recovered.
Yeah, as chat's pointing out, if those two small keys are in the lava chest and the big chest, you can reasonably assume that all your opponents are going to do the same thing and skip it and have to go back, so you're not actually losing any time.
Yeah, it's definitely actually an important point where you're not looking for a best time. You're just looking to beat your opponents. There's the Vicky.
Oh, good. We'll skip the lava chest.
In that very, very friendly Chain Chomp room. They just want to give you a hug.
And there's Joss's Ice Rod, so he is now Bombos from Go mode, and it's just a matter of when he checks Swamp.
Yeah, this is... We got 2 runners 1 item away from Go mode, and 1 runner 2 items away. And as you said, Fear steals the key. Where is Ceruvian going? Meyer? Yep.
I mean, that's the last crystal he can do without finding Bombos.
Or Ice Rod, which he's going to find in a few minutes.
And as Fear's getting close to his 7th crystal, we're putting another prediction in chat. This time, you can predict whether the GT big key number will be even or odd.
Do you have a number you normally go with?
I normally go with 10, and it tends to pay off pretty well. What about you?
I
feel like
generally
we've
say
had
8, and it definitely does not pay off.
this. Well, maybe you need a new number then.
But 8's my number. So we do have the prediction in chat. Definitely take those channel points that you've gotten from viewing all of these great speed games. But also let us know in chat what number chest are you thinking? For a little more specific voting.
There's the small key for Fear, so he gets to skip 1 chest on Laser Bridge.
What is it with Laser Bridge? No matter which order you do those chests, that key is always in one of the last 2.
It knows.
It feels like the game's not doing it. It's totally random. It just feels like it's always that last or second last chest. Fear Agent showing the kill from behind. Well, was showing the kill from behind. Switches to the front.
Well, he got the rare 4 sword hits in 1 cycle. It's possible, but you have to have really good timing, and you don't see runners do it too often.
And that's the final crystal boss down. Fear Agent will be heading to Ganon's Tower.
Oh, and I just noticed that Ceruvian is the first of our runners to max out his heart count.
I wonder what he did that everyone else didn't. I can't come up with what he did that... Oh. Joss went and picked up the 20 rupees on Lumberjack Ledge.
Nothing like a good blind lumberjack check.
That didn't... That's not going to help him very much.
Now, let's see how Ruby handles left side Meyer. He's going to cutscene 2. I'm going to need to have a talk with these runners.
everyone did it.
Except Fear.
Oh, yes. So, we got 2 checks in Ganon's Tower for Fear Agent.
Found the best boomerang in the process, but no small key, so he has to go left.
Three is a piece of heart. 4 is a key.
That was 4 and 5.
Oh, 4 and 5. Yes, yes, yes. That's 7.
Yes.
I forgot to count Torch.
Yes, because your lucky 8 is usually the map chest.
Yeah. The Torch isn't a chest, right?
And, well, the map chest was vanilla today. No, but it's a check. And
Yes, yes. I'm trying to get away with why I didn't count it, but that boomerang is not cooperating for Fear. There it is. So here comes check 9. Small key. Here comes check number 10. While Darkwing defeats Coldster.
Yeah. Did he really not finish Skull Woods?
$13 checks. Nothing.
Wait, you said 13 nothing, so Fear mirrored after Rando Room?
Correct.
Oh, that's a new meta. I've seen a couple of people do that. But I still haven't seen it that often. Okay, it looks like DW. Oh, go ahead.
Oh. No. What, DW?
I was just gonna say, it looks like DW's tracker had eaten the Skull Woods input because now it's up there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So here it is. 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay.
I guess the next question is Joss going to do left side swamp or go straight for the back?
Go straight for the back. It's in the back.
Okay, he is going for the back. Good.
Darkwing is checking that Pyramid Fairy.
Can't really blame him. You don't want to do swamp.
Here's check number 18, Bob's chest. Nope. Bob doesn't have the key. Ice Armos. You know, this route that Fear Agent is using would be very nice in boss shuffles where you don't know what boss is down here and you really just don't want to do it.
So, here are last chances before Tile Room.
20. So, at least you and I both said even numbers.
Yeah. Right, we would have gotten it by that. You could have bet. I'm not allowed to bet.
Yeah. I normally bet when I'm watching. Doing comms, I tend to try to keep an eye on the runners more. Fear Agent going to be going up the gauntlet. There's a significant gap in time between Fear Agent and everybody else this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what he particularly did better with his routing. Other than skipping cutscene chest and Meyer, which is only, a matter of a minute, maybe minute and a half.
And he did have to make the return trip to Thievestown as well.
It might have been that, the time he spent doing that, splash delete to get the fire rod.
That would account for some of it, not quite this big of a difference. He has had extremely good execution today, though, overall.
Yeah, and his Light World routing was better because he was the first of the runners to Aga by quite a bit. So some of it was the early game. Oh, and what do you know, Zeruvian's getting the big bomb, and then he'll probably go to Swamp just like everyone else.
Well, as you see all the runners doing it, you kind of get that idea that, yeah, that's probably the logical play that everybody's feeling. I'd rather do that quick check and find out it's not a Pyramid Fairy than do all of Swamp and find out it was right there the entire time.
The other thing is that since this was an Agaseed, the runners can go do the Big Red Bomb the way the game intended you to and not have to go all the way around. And yeah. DW, unfortunately, is doing Left Side Swamp, the first of our runners to do that.
Well, we'll find out which whole lot of nothing is over there.
I mean, it is 2 items, right?
Yes, but we know there's nothing that they could possibly want over there.
Right, it is guaranteed junk because we've even found, like, the Bloomerang in the book.
And the Mugnet. Because that's what we were joking about before.
Right, that was in the pyramid.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be mushroom.
Which could lead to junk.
Could be a snack. Although, considering it's a witch's mushroom, I'm not sure you really want to eat it. Nope.
Certified junk.
Just cash. And we got the Aga 2 fight going on Fear Agent's side.
Yeah, what was that? A double the first round and then cycle rather, and
that was fast.
Was that like 3-1-2 actually?
Yeah, 3-1-2.
Yeah, chat's confirming. Thank you, chat.
That was fast.
Yeah, always nice when you can get it on 3 cycles.
For sure. I feel like that's a target for a lot of people.
We still do not have any finishers, so it is entirely possible that Fear Agent wins this race. Yeah, so regarding chat, you can get a double triple, but that requires Aga to not shoot a blue ball. So part of that's luck.
And the pattern that you get in terms of where the clones stand and all of that, the shadows, that some of the angles are really hard to get triples. So on to phase 3 of the Ganon fight, definitely the easiest phase. And phase 4. Darkwing is heading into Turtle Rock with that found Bombos. And Zeruvian is about to be our final runner in Go mode. About 20 minutes after Fear. Wow.
And right as Fear takes down the pig.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat for Fear Agent, who has finished with an official race time GG time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 47 seconds.
And is indeed the overall winner tonight, in addition to being first on our stream.
Yeah, with a run like that, you're going to expect him to have been pretty far up.
Yeah, which raises the question of how far behind is everyone else who isn't on Restream?
Yeah, there's just there were a few small places and things where maybe there were small optimizations, but you don't need every single small optimization when you play the game, and that's something even for any viewers that are newer runners or people that are thinking of becoming runners. You don't need to learn every trick and get every single thing right the first time. Just start and practice.
And meanwhile, there is Joss's 7th crystal, so we'll see how quickly he can make his way to Ice Armos.
Yeah, it's Main commented, yeah, the best thing to do if you're just looking to learn or to join the game is just play. Don't worry about all the tricks and everything else. Just play the game and see where it takes you. But we do have Joss entering Ganon's tower.
And we have Fear Agent joining us here. GG. If you're saying anything, you're not lighting up.
I wasn't saying anything because I didn't have my volume on. So
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, GG. Probably not your favorite seed.
You know, my least favorite seeds are the seeds that give you like Aga access and then access to the west side of the Dark World. So giving us that early hook shot, I hate those seeds because the answer is not over. I mean, it technically was the hammer was over there, but you didn't need. You know, you just go into pod, get your stupid mitts and flute, and then hammer being on blind was a little rough too. I felt super behind because I had Thieves Town, Smith, and Purple Chest left when I found the hammer. So
yeah, I mean, the fortunate thing was that Mir was also in the back of Thieves, so between those two things, you were locked out of a lot. And
yeah. I mean, I feel like I played pretty well. So
you definitely did. I mean, going straight to Eastern was a nice move. Though you wound up doing it without a sword as a result.
Yeah, that kind of stunk. But I mean, you get the you get all the stuff for it. Might as well. It's crystal. Why not? So I was just glad I didn't have to make the 50-50 gamble on the big key chest, that they just gave us all 3 items in the front. So that was nice. But you know, save the hammer. I feel like the rest of the seed, and of course Bombos. The rest of the seed was pretty straightforward. It was nice to get like early tempered before going into Aga. Shout out to Kimmy, got the early half magic, so that was really nice.
Can you talk a bit about the ice rod and like why the splash delete didn't work the first time around, but then you went back for it and were able to do it?
Oh, you mean the fire rod?
Sorry, fire rod.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it worked. I just ran out of bombs. That was why. So, I know you have to like reset things after you do. Most nights you have to like reset the Ancilla. This is what at least Gamatry tells me. So I don't know if this is 100% accurate. And I believe like dropping 2 bombs real quick into the water like that will reset it. And I think it worked because I was able to do it. But then the problem was I didn't have enough bombs. And the ledge, you have to get off that ledge pretty fast. That's why it was easier the second time, because I was able to go right to the ledge there. Yeah. If I had more bombs, I would have given it more shots, but I only had 1 bomb after because I believe I reset the Ancilla. That's what I think I did. Hopefully I didn't just waste those bombs, but yeah.
Because you did get into the water the first time you were there, you just didn't get off the ledge.
Right, you got to be fast to get off that ledge. That's why it's nice to have the boots water walk going or whatever, like coming out of the waterfall, so you can go right to the edge, and it makes it like pretty much free. I can get it from the other one, but you just got to be fast. I wasn't fast enough. I was worried I wasn't even going to be able to get it at all. Like I thought my Ancilla was broken from fighting Armos that early, but yeah, it worked out, and that's why I went back for it when I saw that I could do it, and that Skull Woods was a crystal. I was like, I'm gonna have to go back there anyways. Might as well get it now. That way I can make Skull Woods a single dip. Yeah, I did think about going to the back of Thieves Town when I was there, because it was 3 items. I just, I still had Hype Cave and I still had Pod, and I wasn't sure. I was worried about, Agina's Cave still being something too. So
yeah, well, that was the shovel, so a bit trolly.
Yeah, so just wasted my time. And then with Bombos, right? Like I'm go mode. I'm looking for Bombos, and it could literally be anywhere. I kind of hate that. And I could backtrack and do Smith Chain that I skipped, or a couple mirror checks, or Green Pendant or whatever. But Swamp was just the densest location, so it made the most sense. I was kind of hoping that it would just be in Pyramid Fairy.
What surprised us was that all of you did desert, but none of you got the Green Pendant.
Yeah, I mean it takes a lot of time to go back there. You got a cutscene, you got to kill the boss, you got to go turn it in. I don't know. It's like it's a commitment for sure. So
yeah, and I also different going for 1 item versus going for 2 items. If like Landmo had the second item, and
right, the fact that we got both items in the front of. If there was 2, I might have thought about going back there. I'm not sure. But I'm not going all the way back to the desert just for, I can't remember. Was I looking for Bombas at that time? Yeah, for 1 item. When I still had like, I still had Swamp, which is way more sexy, I guess. And, I was kind of banking. So I did the pyramid first. So I was kind of banking on that too.
Right, I think all 3 stream runners did that, except maybe not Joss, but yeah, it was a fairly logical play to, hope that it's one of those 2 chests.
I mean, honestly, if it is Green Pendant, everyone's gonna last location. I can't imagine anyone choosing Green Pendant over, like more dense locations. Did anybody go back for the item in the big chest of Thieves Town?
Joss did. It was 20. It was a red 20.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was hoping it wasn't there. It could be anywhere. So I'm literally just guessing. mean, the whole game is a big guess, but when you're down to one item and it literally could be anywhere. I mean, it could have even been on pedestal, which is kind of also why I incentivized swamp. If I had done swamp and swamp was empty, I might have just gone and done desert and pulled the ped or something. But
Yeah, and when you went to the back of swamp and the first two things you get there are the map and compass, we're like, uh-oh, is it going to be left side?
I know, I hate that. You get two items in the front, you're like, oh, sweet, this is going to be a god swamp, and then you immediately get map and compass. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then the bombas happened to be there, so yeah, it worked all out.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing where you definitely saved a bit of time was the wonderful Meyer key logic and not going for the cutscene chest.
Oh, I wouldn't even know the logic. I'm never going to do that cutscene chest.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that. I don't know the key logic fully for Meyer. I know there's a way to figure out if there's like a key supposed to be there or what, like whatever's supposed to be a big key chest. But I mean, regardless, I'm not doing it until I have
to. Jumping back to the stream quickly, we do have Joss on the Aga 2 fight.
That was a nice Aga 2 fight on your end, by the way, the 3 cycle.
Yeah, there was. I don't think I could have got any better because the second one shot of blue ball. So.
But yeah, I was more surprised that our 3 other restreamed runners all took the cutscene in Meyer.
Yeah, I'm not doing the cutscene. I mean, with the big key, I'm not. There's no way I'm doing the cutscene.
Right. Well, that was the thing with the big key where it was. It made it fairly likely that the cutscene chest was a small key.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna.
And sure enough, it was.
I would do everything else, clear, because it's a crystal kill video, and if I feel like it, go back for that one item if I'm, still looking for it. But there's no way I'm just randomly going to go to the cutscene chest. That's just doesn't make sense to me. For it could be anything, and it was probably as we saw. This would have been an interesting qualifier reseed. Because there's a lot of different options. Do you do pod or East Town, West Side, Dark World first is always an interesting question. And I don't know what the right answer. I don't know what I guess pod was probably the correct answer.
And you don't have to worry about anyone god routing it either and totally messing with the par times.
Yeah, it's tough to god route this one, especially with Bombas being in Pendant Swamp. And another reason I went to Swamp is because we got that. Okay, so you didn't really need the hook shot early. It didn't get you anything on Death Mountain. It didn't really get you anything over on the west side because the mitts were over in pod, which we started with the bow and it was bow locked. It doesn't really matter. So we got mitts. I don't even think the mitts were bow locked actually. Now that I think about it. So I'm like, man, why did we get this hook shot other than you need the hook shot, right? And turns out you really did need the hook shot. So.
Yeah, just not till a lot later. We do have Joss on phase 4 of the Ganon fight.
Yeah, and looks like he's more than halfway through his spins right now, so...
Who was the first one to finish Aga?
You.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
also,
you did more effective light world routing than the other runners and got yourself to Aga first.
Did you like my terrible GT route?
Well, DW just did the same thing.
Yeah, Darkwing did the same thing.
I just don't want to fight Ice Armless if I don't have to, so...
I guess that's the thing about stand hard when there's no way you're getting the silvers. Oh yeah, right. Which tempered sword did you get? Oh, actually, let's pause on that because Joss did just take down the pig. So get your GGs in chat for him.
My sword was Zora.
Okay.
So, Joss crossing the bridge does finish second on Restream, 5th overall, with a time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 49 seconds.
And GG's to second, third, and fourth. We have Ganon's Gone Wild in second at 141.50. Cool Papa Bell right behind him at 142.03. And then Dixon in fourth at 145.15. And Joss is here with us. GG.
Thanks, GG, everybody.
Any initial thoughts on the seed?
I wasted too much time clearing Overworld when I should have just gone to Pendant Dungeons.
there was a lot in Pendant Dungeons.
Well, except for Desert, which I almost full cleared, but should have just left alone.
But
So-
everyone did.
Yeah, everybody did the same thing. At least out of the restreamed runners. The one thing we did laugh about kind of early on in the seed is you actually had Tempered Sword before any other restreamed runner found a sword.
You're kidding. Did they all go to Eastern first?
2 runners did, and one of the other ones did a similar route to you, but they went left before they went right. So they went something to do with the shovel, I think, in that whole area before doing Mini Moldorm Cave.
But yeah, that actually brings us up to how we got to see all 4 sword locations. We were just starting to discuss it with Fear when when you got onto your Ganon fight. But yeah, why don't you tell Fear where your 3rd sword was?
I got mine on the hobo.
Yeah, I've never. I hate doing hobo. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah, so you got a nice green 20 from Zora right afterwards, and that was the other sword.
Oh, I love it. If only I hadn't failed that fake flipper and I could have gotten the fire rod right away. That would have saved me some time.
It's a rough spot for it. Like, most of you were trying it, none of you got it the first time.
Yeah, and I failed it once and I just gave up. I'm like, no, I gotta go do something else. It'll turn up.
I think that's what most people did. Fear was the only one who returned relatively soon after and did the splash delete to get it. Everybody else waited for flippers. We do have Darkwing on Aga 2. Yeah, second pattern is not fun.
All right, it's past my bedtime, so I'm gonna take off. But thanks for the restream, thanks for the comms, and the tracking, and hope everyone had fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the restream.
All right, see ya.
We have Darkwing entering the Ganon fight.
Oh, right. Yeah, we were going to talk about, and we never really got to ask Fear Agent why he noped out of Thieves after only getting 1 item in front, but, Joss, what are your thoughts on Thieves Town? Because I think you were the first one who showed us where the hammer was.
Yeah, I've gotten burned by Thieves Town recently, so I had some recency bias going on, which is why I also went back for the big key chest.
Ah, that would explain it, yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
now we know what was in it.
Yeah, I believe you're the only one to check that chest.
Yeah, that was a good waste of a minute and a half.
But hey, it could have been the key to the seed with how much else was in Thieves Town.
Yeah, no, I nearly did a spit take when I found the hammer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
I can only
there were technical difficulties in the stream at that time, so...
Yeah, no one saw it except us.
I mean, yeah, we got to see it, but we had to tell chat, messaging in chat what was going on.
Oh, darn it. Oh, well.
We do have Darkwing on phase 4 of Ganon. Got the torch glitch, so this shouldn't be too bad. Half magic and torch glitch makes this fight a lot more pleasant.
Ooh, and Zeruvian takes a Moldorm fall.
Moldorm doing what Moldorm does.
DW must be getting pretty close here.
Yeah. There it is.
That'll... As Zeruvian gets Moldorm.
Hey, double explosions! So get your GGs in chat for Darkwing. DJ Darkwing D does finish in 3rd on the restream and 6th overall at a time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 58 seconds.
Yeah, it unfortunately might be a little bit too tight for Zeruvian to get in under the 2-hour mark, but we'll see.
And we do have Darkwing with us in chat. GG's.
GG. That was the thing.
Yeah!
I think that's a good way to describe this particular scene.
It seemed
Yeah.
so lucky when you ended to Thieves Town and got the mirror.
Yeah, and then I felt like a dumbass 20 minutes later.
I mean... Yeah, like... Who
Like,
expects 2 progression items in the back of Thieves?
Okay, 2 progression items and a and you don't have the hammer and there's 3 in the back. Like, I was just kind of clowning around after I missed the splash delete for the 3rd time. I'm like, all right, you just need to do dumb stuff and you'll eventually catch up. I did some dumb stuff, and I definitely I was maybe the first to get the mirror on the restream. I assume I was the last to get the hammer though.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes and
Yes
yes,
to both.
I believe. Yep.
So that was fun. Like, what kind of sucked about that too is I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, you got the mitts out of pod. Maybe, just maybe, they would have had an excuse to not go to the back and just go do other things.
Ooh, Zeruvian just took a death. I'm not sure if he still has his... he took a death on Ganon. I was just about to comment he was low health, and he took an extra hit before it could.
And there's our some sword for sale from Zora in your credits. I forget, did you get the Zora sword or the Hobo sword?
I got the Zora sword.
Yep. So now you know where the 4th one was. There was a time of we found all 4 swords within to about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes.
Oh wow, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the early seed seemed like it was going pretty well. It just didn't give you that hammer.
Like, I'm sitting there just waiting and waiting and waiting, and that's why I went up the mountain early as well, or back to the mountain for, like, I don't know, the 10th time when I went to Hookshot Cave. I'm like, oh, well, if the hammer's up here, then I have like a 66% chance that I can just go mode the... Oh, no, I need... Crap.
Good torch glitch for Zeruvian. And on to phase 4.
All right, folks, it is past my bedtime, but thank you so much for comms and for trackers and for the restream. I really appreciate it, but I got to go to bed.
Have a good evening.
GG, Josh.
Yeah, GG's. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, yeah, GG, Darkwing.
And just a reminder to follow all these great runners.
Also,
Yeah.
here's something I'm really thankful for is you guys got the crap seat out of the way before my next qualifier.
What, you didn't want to have this for a qualifier?
Fear was saying this would have been a great qualifier seed because, you know, so many different ways to route it.
Yeah, maybe for people like him and GGW and you, but not for people who aren't good at this game.
So, Zeruvian has taken down Ganon. Please get your GGs in chat for Zeruvian, who finishes 4th on stream, 9th overall, with 2 hours, 1 minute, 31 seconds. We did have finishers in 7th and 8th of Immortal Koi, just under the 2 hour mark, and Lumaga just over the 2 hour mark. We have Zeruvian with us in the booth as well. GG.
Oh my goodness. I have never played such a bad seed in my... I mean, the seed wasn't bad. It was just, I was off from the beginning.
No,
off from the beginning.
No. Don't say the seed wasn't bad.
Oh no, I had no problems with the seed. I had 0 problems with this seed. I don't know what anyone else had to say, but I mean, I started late. I've been playing without a tracker. I have no idea what my prizes are. You saw me map check maybe 10 times.
Oh, that explains why you went back into Eastern. We were like, did he forget to mark it on his tracker? Oh, you simply didn't have a tracker.
So did I forget to go into Mireshed? No, I went into Mireshed. I just never marked a darn thing. I had no idea what I had done and what I hadn't.
Wow.
That definitely explains a number of things that we were wondering about throughout the seed.
Yeah, I guess there was some miscommunication getting ready. I was trying to figure out what was going on when I was trying to get you guys all started.
So, like, from the get-go, I see the timer going. I'm like, oh, shoot, I should probably be going, shouldn't I? And I felt like I was behind from the minute I walked out of Link's house. And so turns out I am. As for the seed itself, I had absolutely no problems. Obviously, the seed just basically said, okay, well, find all of your items. Ice Rod was in not a nice place, but not a bad place. And then you just end up on Medallion Hunt, which is, it's not as bad as Ice Rod Hunt, to be honest with you.
That worked out well for both you and Joss, who decided to full clear Thieves Town. But that hammer on blind was definitely a interesting location that not everybody checked immediately.
So I adhere to the same principle that a few other players that I'm friends with adhere to. Pendant Thieves Town gets full cleared, no matter what. If 2 items in front, 1 item in front, you have to do it. Just because you never know. There's almost nothing that's required other than Dark World access to get into Thieves Town, so you have to play it.
I was speaking of
I played it, just not all the way through.
Speaking of clearing things, I did want to get your 2 thoughts on cutscene chat.
What was in it?
Like small key. But we're talking. He's asking about the Meyer cutscene chest as to, I think, why doing that over going over to the other side of the dungeon.
I don't know. I was there. Just went ahead and did it. Like I hadn't found a single item just yet, so it had a decent chance. I felt that it'd have something in it. All I had found so far had just been small keys.
Yeah, I think there was a discussion that generally with that there's a there's a high percentage chance that there's a small key in that chest if the big key is in the other Firelock chest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jurassic had some additional details on that.
Yeah, the way I approach Meyer, if you're looking for at least 1 item, is you'll always full clear it. So even if you have to go the normal route and get 1 key from the top side, you're going to go back around and get cutscene, and then just either you're either going to DSE through to the bottom to get either to the big chest or the map chest that's next to the big chest, because you're looking for either, in this case, it's Ice Rod or Bombos, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong, Ice Rod was in Meyer big chest, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I would imagine anyone who hasn't dove into Green Pendant Swamp at that point is still looking for, Ice Rod. So you have to go through and full clear Meyer, because if having to come back is just a pain in the rear end.
Well, I guess the point that Rossi was asking about is due to the fact that there's a very high chance that there's a small key in there. That's why he was asking about it, because if there's a high chance that there's a small key, then if you do the right side, you may just find out that there's a key in there, and then you skip the entire cutscene area.
Yeah, if you find out there's a key in there, then it's whatever. But I play enough key sanity either between cross keys or mystery or whatnot that I'm always going for a full clear. And enough times I've actually ditched the cutscene chest and ended up being my go mode. I had an Ice Rod in there once, as a matter of fact, in a ladder race. It absolutely killed me. So, part of that could be partially just, remembering what you've done before, and part of that is just, being too careful.
Definitely
now that I have
makes
the new
sense.
information, I would change my routing if I had to do it again. I did not know about that, and thanks Zeke and chat for pointing that out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've had the history of just ditching either a hook shot or an Ice Rod or something that you absolutely needed in that cutscene chest, you're never going to skip it again. Same reason with you skipping Front of Skull Woods or the Thieves Town Big Chest, or basically any that's easy to go the first time you're in there and just not easy to go back to. I mean, from the get-go, like I said, I felt like I was behind coming out of the gate, and I felt like I had my street behind, I had my timer behind, and I was just running by the seat of my pants from the minute I walked into Hyrule Castle. So the fact that I barely got over 2 hours, I think, is a godsend, honestly. I played pretty awful on this whole seed and still figured it out. So GG's to the 8 players ahead of me that knew what they were getting into when they walked in.
For 9 runners, it really wasn't that big a time range.
No, and I understand now, thinking about it more, why this would have been a good qualifier seed, because everybody would have had a higher time, the average would have been up, and even my crappy 156.58 still would have been like maybe the high 70s.
Like, I don't think
you cannot god route this seed.
Yeah, there's pretty much no way to do that.
With the way the items were placed in this seed, like, I don't even remember where I found Samaria, let alone Hammer. I mean, Hammer obviously was on blind, but it was not a good place. Samaria was in not a good place, and the bow was in not a good place, and the Bombos was in not a good place. There's just so many things.
Bow was on Uncle.
Yeah, Bow was free, but if you think about it, Bow can put you down such a bad place, a bad path, because it's not in a good place. Because you're starting to chase the bow out of the get-go, and that there was really nothing to come from Eastern, and not you go into Pod even with the hammer from blind, and there's not much to get out of Pod either. So the seed was just it shoots you down an alley, and you have to figure out what you're doing from the beginning of the seed. And it's not bad, but it's not great either.
So the one item that was very well placed were the swords. That all came up front. I can't remember, Zerufian, where was your third sword?
God, if you asked me that about an hour ago, I probably would have known.
Okay, so let me put it this way. One was in Hobo and the other was Zora. So all 4 swords were basically South Shore into the Zora area.
It's terrible. It's terrible, but if you've played any amount of swordless, it's not as bad as you think it is. But still, it's not great. Swords are really the last thing you're worried about in a tournament qualifier seed, because if you have any level of like high-end experience, low percent sort of stuff, you want your boots, you want to get your flute. Flute obviously wasn't in a very kind place, but you knew you needed it because Meyer was a crystal. It's
Well,
just...
the boots were nice and early, at least.
Oh, well, yeah, everyone wants early boots. You want to go fast. The thing is, the boots didn't actually lead to anything on their own, other than, a full clear of desert, which was the green pendant. And did anyone actually turn it in? Because I didn't even go to Landmo.
No one did. No one actually went to Landmo. Everybody ditched.
Oh, good.
Everyone full cleared the front. You're all even on that front.
So, I mean, it turns out that if you actually just played it through and just went to whatever was available at any given time, you eventually find everything you need. But at the same time, you're having to make a decision between your awful pendant dives and between Swamp and... I mean, we knew GP was dead. What was the third pendant? I completely wrote it off in my head. Was it Pod?
Thieves.
It was
Thieves Down.
Oh, no,
Thieves
the
Down.
third pendant, because I got the pendant off a blind, obviously.
Oh, Swamp.
Okay.
And
then
Desert.
What's... Oh, Desert. Well, no. Swamp, Desert. Okay, yeah.
Swamp,
Swamp
Desert,
was
and Thieves.
All right, hey everybody. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut in right here. I need to go. It's late, and I have to work in the morning. Thank you again to all the crew. Do appreciate y'all. Everyone watching. You're amazing people. And Speed Gaming, thank you again. Commentators, trackers, restreamers. You're all wonderful people, and I love you all. And GG Zara.
GG Darkwing. Have a good night.
Everybody.
See you around.
We should probably wrap soon. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you're
I
on the
think
West
so.
Coast, Zara,
Oh
but
yeah, I'm done with the seed.
us comms are on the East Coast.
Yeah, feel
Yes.
free to cut it off. Once again, thank you, GG, and thanks Drossi and Zethno for the commentary, Pixie for the tracking, and Arturo. Not a bad seed, honestly. I don't think the seed was that bad. It was, it had a couple moments, but like I said, I was running by the seat of my pants from the moment I walked out of Link's house, and I definitely looked like it. So.
Well, thanks again to all our runners. Once again, give them a follow. And yes, as Zeruvian just said, shout outs to our trackers, Professor Pixie and Artaro, but both seasoned trackers who are always great to have on board. And thanks to my co-com Zethno, always awesome to work with you.
Definitely the same to you, Drossi. I'm just gonna jump in here and also say, if you liked what you were watching, there's gonna be a lot more of this coming up on all of these channels. So do follow the Speed Gaming channels. So that'll be Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and keep an eye on the schedule. There's pretty much a daily race of different modes every single day for Link to the Past. But we definitely have these qualifier races for the main tournament that we've mentioned a few times coming up, and there's going to be a lot of tournament games coming up once the group stages start up.
And just to highlight, in fact, for tomorrow, which is now today if you're in Europe or on Eastern or Central Time, at 2:10 p.m. on the main Speed Gaming channel, we will have qualifier number 7, which will be in this same hard standard mode. And then at 9 p.m., also on Speed Gaming Main, is tomorrow's ALTTP Daily Race, which will just be a regular old open mode. So be sure to check both of those out.
Outside of that, I think we hope that you had a good time with us here tonight, and I hope to see you next time.
Have fun until then, everyone.